Well, it's Top 5 Tuesday here in the Ozone. But first, we're going to recap last night's Eagles-Chargers Monday Night Football game. And let's just say I've seen better games from better teams. But it is what it is last night. But we'll go over it, and I'll give you what my take on that game last night. And college football. There been so much talk about how the college football playoff system can be changed, revamped, adjusted, what have you. I'm going to give you what I think how the college football playoff should be going forward in the future. And it is Top 5 Tuesday. Well, I will give you my final Top 5 college football Power 5 and my latest NFL Power 5 from Week 14. We're going to get into all that right here, right now, in the Total Sports Ozone. Big Ol' with the big mouth coming at you on a Tuesday, December 9th, 2025. And let's get into the recap of last night's Monday Night Football game. Well, I don't care. I'm going to just say this off the top. I don't care if you're the best team in the NFL or the worst. It's kind of hard to win when you turn the ball over 6 times. And that's what the Eagles did last night. They amassed 6 turnovers. There were 8 total turnovers for this game. This game last night was really sloppy from an offensive standpoint. Was only, if I'm not mistaken, only 2 touchdowns scored in the whole game. One by each team. There were plenty of missed opportunities by each team. And I'm surprised that this game went into overtime and the final, and with this game going in overtime, the final score was 22-19. 22-19. Both teams, let me just put it like this. Both teams, to me, are playoff teams. But if they play like they played last night, especially the Philadelphia Eagles, they're not going to be long in the tooth in the upcoming playoffs. I guarantee you that. Now let's look at the Eagles side of this. Jalen Hurts probably had, you would have to say he had probably his worst game since he was probably a rookie. He just, for some reason, that ball, I don't know what he was looking at when he was making some of these throws. I don't know if he's off sync with his receivers. I don't know what it was. But Jalen Hurts just did not have it last night. 21 of 40 for 240 yards. And he accounted for 5 of the 6 turnovers the Eagles amassed. 4 interceptions. And he lost a fumble. And the way he lost that fumble, you guys saw it. He throws an interception. The Chargers defensive player gets hit. He fumbles it. And Jalen Hurts picks up the fumble. Takes about 2, maybe 3 steps. He gets hit and he fumbles the ball. Right back to the Chargers. So somehow, some way, on one play, he accounted for 2 turnovers. Amazing, isn't it? I never thought I could see that happen, that the quarterback would be responsible for 2 turnovers on the same play. That's the kind of night Jalen Hurts had. And, of course, he threw what amounted to, for the Chargers, the game-winning interception right there near the goal line to end the game in overtime. Justin Herbert, on his side, you could tell that the hand, that's newly surgically repaired left hand, was bothering him. Now, I have to give him much credit and much kudos and tips for my hats for going out there and playing. 3 days after you had your hand surgically repaired, he went out there and played and gutted it out. But he didn't look good at all either. 12 of 26 passing, 139 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and he was sacked 7 times. So neither one of these quarterbacks, who I believe are some of the more elite quarterbacks in the NFL, did not account themselves good in this game. Hence, there was only 1 touchdown scored on each side. There were missed opportunities, especially with the Eagles. A.J. Brown had a touchdown in his hand and he dropped it. And A.J. Brown, he had 100 yards on 6 receptions, but he was targeted 13 times, and he dropped 4 passes. One was a sure touchdown. Right in his hand, right in the end zone, and it slipped right out of his hands. And Saquon Barkley, it was that one long 52-yard run. If it wasn't for that, he would have had another pedestrian performance. He had 122 yards on 20 carries, but most of the yards came on that 52-yard run for a touchdown. Other than that, he was quiet. Other than that 1 touchdown, Saquon Barkley had another quiet performance. Which leads into my next topic. What's wrong with the Eagles offense, and can they fix it in time? Let's face it, the last, month or so, the Eagles offense has been, let's just say, I'm just going to be nice here. And I'm usually not nice when it comes to my look at teams, whether they're doing good or bad. I'm going to be nice here. Their offense has been at best mediocre. At best. They only scored 15 points last week. The last 2 weeks before that, they scored a total of 19 points. Or like 20-something points total. And then last night, they only dropped 19 points. 1 touchdown, 4 field goals. 1 touchdown, 4 field goals. That was it. What is going on with Jalen Hurts? What is going on with A.J. Brown? Why isn't Saquon Barkley being involved more in the offense? I mean, I know teams are going to go out there. Their defensive plan is going to try to stop Saquon Barkley from running all over them. That's fine. That's what they're supposed to do. But if you're the Eagles offensive coaching staff, why don't you change it up? Why don't you put Saquon Barkley out there in the slot? Or get him runs out of the backfield. Screen passes. Do that good. Get him involved. You cannot win with Saquon Barkley not totally involved in the offense. You can't win, but that's what you did last year. Saquon Barkley was the key, what is the word I'm looking at? Ringleader of the Eagles offense. He was the bell that rung the Eagles offense. You couldn't stop Saquon Barkley. You had no chance of stopping the Eagles offensively. That's what they did last year. And they were one of the best deep offenses in the league. I mean, Saquon Barkley did run for 2,000 yards last year. He ain't nowhere near that this year. Okay, so defenses have been keen to stop Saquon Barkley. That's what they're supposed to do. So if you're the Eagles offensive staff, coaching staff, or whatever, why don't you employ more screen passes for Barkley? Put him in the slot. Let him catch the ball out of the backfield. Don't just put him in the backfield and hope he can run all over when you know the other team is going to be stacking 8 in the box to stop him. Get creative. slots. Let him go deep every now and then. Turn him into a little bit of a hybrid. Running back / receiver. That's what you do. You got one of the best offensive players in the league on your team. Use him. If the run's not working, let him catch the ball. I mean, he got 2 hands, don't he? Let him catch the ball out of the backfield. Throw it to him in the flat. Let him work with blockers. Put him some screens. Let him catch some balls out in the slot. Whatever it takes to get him more involved, other than just running him up the middle, running him off to the left side, running him off to the right side, you knowing that the other team's defense is going to key in on that. And Jalen Hurts, I don't know if there's some kind of discord or disconnect with his receivers, but it's just it has not been there over the past 4 or 5 games. Which is surprising to me, considering Jalen Hurts is just coming off a Super Bowl MVP season. But he is missing passes, and the passes he don't miss, they're dropping them, especially A.J. Brown. He's not helping Jalen Hurts out at all. And let's face it, the Eagles have turned the ball over 9 times in the past 2 games. You're not winning much of anything. You do that. I don't care, like I said at the beginning of the show, I don't care how good a team you are or you think you are. I don't care how bad a team you think you are. You turn the ball over that many times. You give the other team that many extra possessions by turning the ball over, chances are you're going to lose. I am surprised that this game went into overtime, considering the Eagles turned the ball over 5 times up until the overtime period. I'm surprised that game went into overtime. Probably because the Chargers offense wasn't that much better. It was a little disjointed. I'm going to key that to the fact that Justin Herbert still hurting with that left hand. He just, like I said, he gutted out that performance, but you can tell that surgery probably affected his performance. It had to, because he has to worry about that hand, especially when he's getting sacked as many times as he has last night, 7 sacks. He has to worry about that left hand, even though he throws with his right. He has to worry about it, because if that hand gets damaged anymore, he's going to be able to play, period. They're not going to let him play. So he had to, I know that had to be in the back of his mind. And it probably threw off his concentration. And you could tell by some of the throws he missed. He was hurried most of the night, flushed out of the pocket. He never looked really comfortable. But he only threw 1 interception as far as to Jalen Hurts throwing 4. So it's not like he didn't help the Chargers lose the game. Jalen Hurts helped the Eagles lose that game. I have to say, his performance, we've all seen better from him. And we all expect better from him. But something's going on with the Eagles offense. And my personal take is, I know they deal with it. Everybody deals with injuries, though. But my personal take is, you have got to use Saquon Barkley better. Not just running the ball left and right, knowing the other defense is going to key in on that. They're one of the keys is to stop Saquon Barkley. Get creative. If you're any of the Eagles, get creative. Use Saquon out of the backfield. Screens. Throws in the flat with blockers in front of him. Use him in the slot. That's what you do. Get him more and more involved in all aspects of the offense. Not just running the ball left, running the ball right. Because like I said, other than that long 52-yard touchdown run, he was quiet again. You take that away, he only has 70 yards. and they were mainly like little short 2, 3, 4 yard runs. Not the explosive runs that we've seen him do all last year. None of that. He had that one, and that was it. He was quiet the rest of the night. And I'm telling you, the Eagles right now, if anybody, they're 8-5, yeah. But if anyone thinks that this team is capable of going all the way and winning and repeating as Super Bowl champions, I would think twice about that thought. Because right now, I don't see them getting out of the first round playing the way they played last night or the way they've been playing the last 2 or 4 weeks, especially on offense. If they don't get, and they got 4 games left. They got 4 games left, and they need to correct to get this corrected on offense ASAP. And I mean ASAP. Or else they're gonna be there's no chance of them repeating. Now, as far as getting to the playoffs, winning the division, I'm pretty sure they're gonna win the division. They're sitting at 8-5. The Dallas Cowboys didn't help themselves by losing to Detroit. They're sitting 6-1. So they're basically they're about a game and a half up on the Eagles are. A game and a half up on the Cowboys. Looking at both these teams' schedules for the remainder of the season, you would have to think the Eagles should win this division. You would have to think that. The rest, because the remaining schedule for the Eagles, they got the Raiders at home. They got 2 games with the Commanders. And their toughest game will be at Buffalo. That's the next to last game of the season. So they should be able to win 3 of their last 4 games. Even with their offense struggling the way it has been, they should be able to win 3 of their last 4 games, and that'll be enough for them to get the division. That's more than enough to get the division. But if they don't correct the issues they have on their offense, I'm sorry to say, I don't see them repeating. I don't even see them making it to Santa Clara and in Super Bowl. I don't see it. What about you? What do you think? And what do you think the Eagles can turn this around on their offense in time for the playoffs? Let me know. Give me a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like what you're seeing. Let me know what you think. Can the Eagles turn this around? I mean, to me, they're the weakest 8-5 team in the league right now because of their offense. Their defense has been carrying them, but oh well. I mean, last week, Chicago ran over them and through them, and the offense never responded. Last night, the Chargers, they didn't do much of anything well, but they did just enough because of 6 turnovers by the Eagles. That's why. 6 turnovers, you're not beating anybody. You can't give anybody that many extra possessions and expect to win. Care how good you are or how bad you are. Not going to happen. So, 22-19 overtime win last night for the Chargers. Chargers moved to 9-4 and stay right in the mix with the Denver Broncos. I believe they're a game behind the Broncos in the AFC West. Big O with the big mouth, Total Sports Ozone. Oh yeah, I got the word, I believe late yesterday, that Browns quarterback Shedeur Sanders has been named the starting QB for the remainder of the Browns season. What do I think about that, and what do I think he should do, or he need to do to convince the Browns that he is the starting quarterback for the Browns in the future? Well, it goes both ways because, it's twofold to me. A lot of people are thinking Shedeur Sanders is not getting has never got a real fair shake in Cleveland. I would have to agree. I've been agreeing that ever since preseason. He looked good in preseason. I ain't gonna say he looked great, but he looked good enough to be able to at least get a look-see when the season started. But he was, as you all know, he was what, third, fourth on the quarterback chart. I think he was on the practice squad when the season started. Yeah, Joe Flacco, you had Kenny Pickett, then they traded Kenny Pickett, and then you had Dylan Gabriel. So he was third on the picking order in the quarterback depth chart. Okay, then they traded. Then the Browns traded Joe Flacco to Cincinnati. So that elevated Dylan Gabriel. So he was the first one to get his shot at seeing if he can be the starting quarterback for the Browns. And let's face it, he sucked. He sucked. So after he gets injured, now you got no choice but to play Shedeur Sanders. And how has he looked? He's looked like a rookie. He's looked like a rookie. He makes mistakes, holds on to the ball a wee bit too long, needs to learn when to get rid of it and how. He's staring down his receivers like most rookie quarterbacks tend to do, which leads to maybe one or two of his passes maybe getting intercepted. But he's also learned. And that's what you would hope you would see from Shedeur Sanders if you're a Browns fan. You want to see progress. We know the season's over. Browns ain't going nowhere. We know that. Everybody know that. So these last 4 games are about seeing progress. We want to see him get better. Last Sunday, 364 yards, accounted for 4 touchdowns. Only threw 1 interception, and he was only sacked twice. That's progress. He didn't win the game, but you can't blame that on him. But you see him progress. Richard just said he threw some great passes. And he spread the wealth. He threw a great touchdown pass to Njoku. The pass to Jerry Jeudy was right on the money. I mean, he threw some great, accurate passes. And he's not afraid to go deep. And that's what I want to see. I want to see a quarterback that ain't scared to throw that ball deep if he sees the matchup. He ain't afraid that he's trying to trust his receivers. Let's face it, the Browns ain't got no bona fide AAA grade receivers on their roster. Everybody knows that. But he's doing the best with what he got. And he's looked better. From the time he started, he came in and when Dylan Gabriel got hurt in the second half against the Ravens to now, you have to say he's looked better. Yes, I know he was playing the Titans. But still, we got to see what he can do. So, I am glad he will be the starting quarterback for the rest of the season. But will he? What we need to see? What I need to see from him to convince me that he is QB1 for the future of the Cleveland Browns? Take care of the ball. No silly interceptions. I know he's gonna throw interceptions, but not no silly ones. Not no ones like make you think, what the hell are you doing? I don't need to see that. 2, get rid of the ball. Stop hanging on. I know rookie quarterbacks tend to do that, but he has got to learn. If it ain't there, throw it away. If it ain't there, throw it away. Go through your reads. You need to be going through all your reads within 3 seconds or less. Go through your reads. If it ain't there, either run or throw it away. That holding on the ball too long is going to end up with sacks and turnovers. I think he's learning that. I hope he learns that. Keeps learning that. I like the poise. I like the leadership. And I hope Kevin Stefanski lets this boy lead. Let him lead the offense. The only way he's going to learn is to lead. He needs to be the leader. And it's up to his coaching staff and his teammates to let him be the leader. What have you got to lose? You ain't going nowhere. So that's what I think I need to see from Shedeur Sanders to convince me that he will be the starting quarterback of the future. Take care of the ball, get rid of the ball if it's not there, and continue to lead. Those intangibles that all great quarterbacks have. The Joe Montanas, the Tom Brady's, Peyton Manning's, and so forth. They have those one or two intangibles that you can't teach. That's what I need to see from Shedeur Sanders for the rest of the season. Because they're not playing no chump teams their last 4 games. They got to go to Chicago next week. They still got to play the Steelers again. And they got the Bengals again. So it's not like they playing. They're done. They're done playing tough teams. They're playing, 3 of their last 4 games against teams that were vying for playoff spots. So this is going to be a tough test for Shedeur Sanders. It's not going to be easy, but we need to see. We need to see continued growth. We need to see continued development, and the coaching staff has to put him in a position to succeed. Last weekend, I don't think Kevin Stefanski did that. I hope he learns that if he wants to save his job, if he has any inkling of being the head coach of the Cleveland Browns in 2026, you might want to help this boy. You might want to help number 12 succeed. I'm just thinking. Just think about it. Now, just think about it. Big O with the big mouth, Total Sports Ozone. Let's switch gears to college football. Now, I've been hearing this on the radio. I've been seeing this on TV, ESPN, and Fox, and La Da Di. I've been seeing this on websites and on my social media feed, all about Notre Dame and their gripe about being left out of the college football playoff. I've heard negative. I've heard the negative about this. I've heard the positive about this. Ain't been much positive. But I've heard a lot of pundits and critics talk negative about Notre Dame. And I've heard the teams that are for the players or pundits that were for Notre Dame being in. And here's my take. I think I might have said this yesterday. Here's my take. Like I said, I think I did say this yesterday. If it was up to me, Notre Dame's not getting in. Why? You lost to Miami. That's head to head. Forget conference affiliation. I don't care what conference you were being independent. Let's look at your dang record. Let's look at the schedule. Your 2 best games on your schedule, you lost. You lost. Miami, you lost. First week of the season, you lost. Came home next week, Texas A&M, you lost. Well, you didn't lose by much in these games, but still, you lost. Had you beaten Miami, you'd probably be in right now, because the rest of the schedule after the A&M loss, the rest of the schedule was cupcake. Let's face it, it was cupcake. You had cupcake upon cupcake upon cupcake. You might maybe USC, maybe Pitt, because those were the only 2 teams that were anywhere near ranked in the college football playoff when you played them. But they weren't highly ranked. They were in the 20s. And then let's look at the rest. Syracuse, Purdue, Boston College, You beat a good Navy squad. Okay, Navy squad. Arkansas. These are the teams you beat. You slaughtered. You beat. Yeah, okay. They wasn't going to impress anybody. Were they? No. Notre Dame. I don't know if this is what I say to Notre Dame. I don't know if you're ever going to join a conference. I think you like that money. You just extended your television right deal with NBC and the like up until 2029. So I seriously doubt any time in the near future that Notre Dame is going to join a conference in football. Everybody know in every other sport Notre Dame plays, they're affiliated. They're in the ACC conference. In every other sport except football, because of that and I said it was because of that television rights deal with NBC. I mean, they're getting paid $50 million a year to have NBC play their home games. Now, if they joined the conference, whether it be the SEC, Big Ten, whatever, ACC, they would get probably 50, 60 million, but they would have to share it, revenue sharing. And they ain't trying to share no money with nobody. That's why they are still an independent. And that's fine. To me, I don't care. I've known you as anybody. I don't care. But you better schedule better. You better schedule better, and you better start winning those games you schedule against better competition. You're an independent, so you can schedule anybody. You ain't just tied to the ACC or the Big Ten or the SEC. But you shouldn't be scheduling a couple of Mountain West opponents. So I'm saying, you shouldn't be scheduling the lower tier ACC, Boston College, Pitt. You shouldn't be scheduling the lower tier Big Ten, Purdue, Michigan State. Why don't you put Ohio State back on the schedule? Why don't you play Miami? Why don't you play Clemson? You've done that. I'm sure they're going to rebound. Put some better teams on your schedule so the committee can see, and you beat those teams the way you beat the one of them 10 games in a row, averaging by about 29 points a game. Do that against the big boys. I know you had a home with Georgia. Why don't you have a home with Alabama? Have a home with Oklahoma. Hell, have a home with LSU. Put those teams on your schedule and beat them. Then, if you get left out of the playoffs, I can hear your story. But right now, I can't hear your story. I can't buy it. And I said yesterday, when the Duke Blue Devils won the ACC championship, I knew one of the bubble teams, that was Miami, Alabama, Notre Dame, one of those teams that was on that bubble was about to get their bubble burst. And it just so happened to be Notre Dame. I knew the College Football Playoff Committee was not going to punish Alabama for playing one extra game, even though they got their ass handed to them in that extra game. They weren't going to punish them, even though they have 3 losses. I knew they weren't going to punish them. And as you can see, they didn't. So it all came down to Miami and Notre Dame. And it was that's a simple formula. Head to head. They both played. Miami won. They ain't in. That's what happened when Duke won. Duke winning, like I said, Duke winning the ACC championship took an at-large spot away, because you had, by the CFP rules, you had to put the 5 highest-ranking conference winners into the playoff as automatic qualifiers. If Virginia would have won, they would have been the highest-ranking ACC highest ranking ACC team that won the conference championship. So they would get automatic bid, which would have knocked out either James Madison or Tulane, probably James Madison. And that spot would have went to Notre Dame. Sorry, you really can't blame nobody but yourselves, Notre Dame, and Duke. Blame them. Cuss them out. Or blame Virginia for losing that game, the ACC championship. Blame them. And blame yourselves. In the future, schedule better. If you want to stay independent, you better put some big boys on your schedule, and you better start beating them. I don't want to hear this. Oh, we played this, and I don't want to hear that. Put some big boys on your schedule and beat them. That's what I think. Now, what do you think? Drop me a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Now, there's been another big stick about how to fix the college football playoff. I already said this. I've already said it, and I'll say it again. This is what you do. First off, expand the college football playoff to 16 teams. 16 teams. You don't need 24. You don't need no more. 16. That's enough. Now, every team in the Power 4 conference and in the Group of 5 conference plays 12 games. 3 non-conference games. 3 non-conference games. 3. And at least 8 conference games. Maybe 9, depending on how your schedule breaks. And every team gets 1 bye week. Not 2. You don't need 2. 1. That's enough. Now, get rid of the damn committee. Get rid of them. All right? Get rid of the damn committee. Use what they've been using to rank these teams for decades. The AP poll and the coaches poll. The AP poll and the coaches poll. Use those 2 polls to get your college football playoff bracket. However, instead of starting the teams ranked in preseason before everybody get a chance to see what they can do, why don't you start ranking these teams after every team, including in the Group of 5, has played at least 6 games. 3 of them have to be conference games. 3. Then you rank them, starting pretty much the middle of the season. Probably leave a lot of people wondering, "Ooh, how are we doing?" That's good. How we doing? Are we doing well enough? Are we doing good enough? It'd be a whole lot of debates. But that's good for the game. It'd be good for the game. Because then we're going to see, once and for all, who should be at the top and who shouldn't. But we don't know because the rankings ain't came out until week 6. After week 6, week 7, there's a bye week. And then play the season out. Play the season out, right? We know that the teams are ranked based on how many points they've accumulated from the voters and the writers throughout that week. The more points you get, the higher you rank. So at the very end, after all conference championship games have been played, right? You take the 2 final polls, smash them together, divide by 2, and that gives you your poll average. Your poll average. If your poll average lands you in the top 16, you are in. Now, no matter what your conference is, if your poll average lands you in the top 16, you are in. There you go. With the top 4 teams getting buys. Actually, the top 8 teams getting first round buys. There you go. get first round buys. The top 8 teams get first round buys, and they get guaranteed home playoff games. There you go. Simple. It's simple. It can't be more simple. That's what you use. Use what we've been using for decades to rank these teams. The AP poll and the coaches poll. But get a committee. What do they know? There won't be much bias. There might be a little bit bias. There's always going to be some bias toward the SEC. But it ain't going to be that much. It'll be right there. You want to get into the playoffs? You better win your games. You better win your games. Period. That's what we use. That's what needs to be done. That's how I see it. What do you think? But that's a simple formula. That is a simple formula. Every team plays 12 games. You play 3 non-conference, 9 conference games. The AP and coaches poll, the first initial AP and coaches poll, do not get released until every team has played at least 6 games or gotten through halfway through your schedule. Then you rank them. Then you play the season out. You win, you'll probably move up in the rank, or you lose, you'll drop. But at the end, after everything is said and done, and the final rankings come out, you mash those 2 polls together, divide by 2, you get a poll average. And your poll average will put you in the top 16. Ladies and gentlemen, you're in the playoff. So, scheduling will come into play. Who you played and when will come into play. All that. Because you ain't going to know where you ranked until you played half your schedule. So you better win early. And you better win late. And then, of course, they're going to be, how they ranked so higher than we beat them. Let it be that debate. There's always going to be debate. But at least it'll be fair. Can't gripe. Because you will have had 6 weeks to raise your damn, every team will have 6 weeks. 6 to raise your rankings. And if you didn't do it, don't blame nobody but yourself. It's fair. It's easy. No committee to bitch at. And everybody gets a shot. Even the group of 5. Everybody gets a shot. You just better schedule good teams, and you better win your games. Period. That's how I see it. How do you see it? Big O with the big mouth, Total Sports Ozone. Let me get into this real quick. We got to get into running low on time, so we got to get, it is Top 5 Tuesday. So, let's get into my top 5 teams. This is my final Power 5 from college football. Because I won't be doing this for the playoffs. It don't make no sense. So, these are my top 5 teams. Final top 5 in Power 5 in college football. We got number 5. I'm going to have the Oregon Ducks staying right there. 11-1 is 11-1. And they took care of business when they needed to get themselves into the playoff. And they want to be rewarded with a home playoff game against James Madison. So they stand right where they should be. I didn't move them up or down. But I did move Texas Tech to number 4. I had them at 5. But I flipped them because Texas Tech impressed me over the weekend. How they handle BYU defensively. You got to admit they got one of the best, if not the best defenses in the country. I mean, that game was tight up until their defense took over in the third quarter. And then they just ran away and hid from BYU. They beat them worse this time than they beat them in the regular season matchup. They beat them worse this time. And they did it at the right time. Texas Tech believe this is their first outright Big 12 championship in the program history, if I'm not mistaken, and their first conference champion of any kind since I believe it was 1955. So kudos to Texas Tech for taking care of business. You land in my final top 5 at number 4. Number 3, of course, is the Georgia Bulldogs. What can you say? To avenge your only loss the way they did it, perfect. Perfect. Your only loss in the season, you revenge it in the SEC championship game. You finally beat Alabama in the SEC championship game. They were like 0-5, I believe, against Alabama in the SEC championship. They finally got that monkey off their back. And they did it. And how? This game was close for like the first quarter and a half. Then Georgia put the clamps on them defensively. They held Alabama to -3 yards rushing for the game. I don't care who you playing and where. That's defense. If you can hold another team to negative yards rushing, they even have 5 yards. I mean, that's half of what you need for a first time. They didn't have that. Alabama didn't have that. They had -3 yards rushing. It's one of the reasons why I have a problem with Alabama being in the playoff. You can't run the ball. You ain't winning no damn championship. You can't run the ball. And Georgia showed Alabama can't run the ball. At least not as effectively as you would need them to. And the Bulldogs put it on them. They gave up a late touchdown just to make Alabama feel a little better about themselves. But that was total dominance in the SEC championship game by the Dogs. And that's why I kept them in number 3. Number 2, number 1 and number 2 have been flip-flopped. I am a Buckeyes fan. I make no apologies about that. But it is what it is. Like I said, I call it like I see it. And I have no problem moving Ohio State down to number 2. They didn't take care of business in the Big Ten championship game. A couple of turnovers, some missed opportunities, a missed field goal. Hey, they held Indiana to 13 points. I don't think any other team or Indiana's schedule has been that good defensively against Indiana. But they didn't make the plays they needed to make. They made mistakes on offense and on special teams, and it cost them. And then when you play substandard, I gotta lower you. I gotta bump you down. Even if you are my team, and like I said, I make no favors when it comes to my list. And I had no problem moving them down to number 2, which means number 1 is the Indiana Hoosiers. They are the only undefeated team in college football, and they're the Big Ten champions. Tip my hat to Kirk Cignetti and the Hoosiers. If Kirk Cignetti does not win Coach of the Year, something wrong. I mean, let's think about it, y'all. Think about it. Did anybody ever even consider Indiana football before the last couple of years? Hell no. We're talking about the losingest program in college football history. And in 2 years, Coach Kirk Cignetti has turned that team into the number 1 team in the country in 2 years. What can you say about that? That's remarkable. And did it Indiana. Indiana is not a college football blue blood. Basketball, maybe, but not college football. And here they are sitting up. Right now, they're sitting on the top of the mountain. Right now. Now, we still got the playoffs. Indiana's the 1 seed, Ohio State 2 seed, Georgia the 3 seed, Texas Tech 4 seed. Those 4 teams get those first round buys. Let's see how the first round buys affect their play when we get to the second round. And none of those teams are playing home games. I believe Indiana will be going to the Rose Bowl. Ohio State will be going to the Cotton Bowl. Georgia to the Sugar Bowl. Texas Tech to the Orange Bowl, I think. I have to look it up again. We'll see how that layoff will affect them. But that is my final college football Power 5 for 2025. What do you think? Should somebody be up there that they ain't? I do have 3 conference champions up there. So if I made a mistake somewhere, let me know, okay? Drop me a comment. Let me know what you think. But that is my final top 5 in college football. Now let me get real quick to the NFL. We got to get NFL, my top Power 5 NFL from the ending of week 14. Let me pull it up. The Power 5 NFL teams for the ending of week 14 as of yesterday. I got my number 5 team. I put Green Bay back into the top 5. The way they stopped Chicago defensively when they needed to get that win with the interception in the end zone to beat the Chicago Bears, impressive. And it was a really good, entertaining game. Jordan Love is impressing me a little bit more and more. You know, I wasn't sure about him coming into the season, but when he has time, he can pick a defense apart. I'm still not sold on him as being like a top 5 quarterback or the makings of it because he tends to throw the ball away a lot. But if he has time, he can pick you apart. And the defense does what it needs to do. Micah Parsons is still Micah Parsons, and the rest of that defense does what it needs to do to salt away a victory. That's why I put them back in my top 5. They do what is needed to do. They're not flashy at all. I don't think this is a team that's going to wow you with 30, 40 points a game, but they do what is needed on both sides of the ball. And and the record don't lie. 9-3-1 is 9-3-1. So I stuck them back into my top 5. Well, I got number 4 being the Denver Broncos. They just keep winning. Yeah, they play the Raiders. Everybody beats the Raiders, but still, Denver look like they're going to pull away and win this division. It's amazing. I didn't see this coming from Denver to start the season. I didn't see them being 11-2 and on the cusp of winning the AFC West. I thought it was going to be the same old team, the Chiefs. Chiefs can't win this division. It's either going to be Denver or it's going to be Los Angeles. Nobody else. And it looks like if Denver, I believe Denver plays the Chargers one more time, win that game, that's the division. That's a division and it looks like a home playoff game. If they keep this up, they're going to be battling with another team in my top 5 for home field advantage throughout the AFC. Now, who would want to go to Denver, Mile High, in the wintertime in January to play those Broncos the way they with their defense? I wouldn't want to. We're going to find out. I got number 3 is the LA Rams. I moved them up from 5. They got that one bounce back win that every team looks forward to getting when they trounced the Cardinals in Arizona, coming off that loss to the Carolina Panthers. If Matthew Stafford, right now, he's my leading candidate for league MVP. With Pachulia, Adams, Williams, this team can do it all. This team can run the ball. They can throw it. They got good defense. They got good special teams. This might be the most complete team in the National Football League. And I'm not just saying that being facetious. I'm being funny about it. I've seen them play. I've seen them play multiple times. This may be the most complete team in the league. Maybe. You know, even after a tough loss on the road, bounce back and destroy the next team on the road. What do you say about that? This team is the total package to me. But there are a lot of good teams in the NFC. So we're going to see. The NFC is wide open to me. The NFC is wide open. And it ain't the usual suspects. But we're going to see what this looks like. Because even with the Rams being 10, they ain't wrapped up nothing yet. And they still got the Seahawks, the 49ers breathing down their neck. It's going to be fun last 4 weeks of the season. But on my list this week, I got the Rams at number 3. My number 2 team this week is the New England Patriots. They had a bye week, so they don't move. Stay right there at number 2. And finally, my number 1 team was my number 1 team from last week, the Seattle Seahawks. They destroyed the Atlanta Hawks in their Atlanta Falcons, in their building. You know, the last 2 games, the Seahawks have not allowed a touchdown. The last 2 games. They've allowed a total of 9 points in the last 2 games. They held the Falcons in their house to just 3 field goals. They got timely turnover. They got an opportunistic defense. I'm still not completely sold on their offense with Sam Darnold and their inability to run the ball effectively, but they do have, I believe, the best wide receiver in the game in Jackson Smith and Jigba. And when you got him on balling out the way he do, you always gonna have a chance if you're the Seahawks. And with that defense, and you can play that kind of defense on the road, there was no reason for me not to move him off my number 1 spot. To hold another team in their house to no touchdowns, less than 10 points, in their house, with the loud fans and the screaming and all that, and shut the other team down in their house. I don't care how good or bad that other team is. You do that, you're going to get some kudos from me. And that's why I kept the Seattle Seahawks as my number 1 team as of week 14. Now, as Stephen A. and all of them will say, this list is fluid. It will probably change next week. It probably will. It might not. We'll just have to see. But that's my Power 5 for the week ending week 14. What do you think? Do you think I got it right? Could there be somebody up there that should be up there and is not? Drop me a comment and don't forget to like and subscribe. I surely appreciate it. So, that's my time for today. Gotta get on out of here. Tomorrow, we're going to start delving into, like I keep promising you I'll do that. I'm going to do this tomorrow. We're going to delve into the NBA. We're going to delve into the NBA. We're going to look at the matchups in college football and see who has an advantage on the first round, who has an advantage and who not. But we're going to look more into the NBA. And if any hot topics pop up from the NFL, we're going to discuss them, as we always do. But tomorrow, I'm going to give you my NBA top 5. Yes, I'm going to keep my eye on the NBA, but I'm going to give you my NBA top 5. Number 1 is going to be easy. Y'all already know who it is. If you don't know, ask somebody. Big O with the big mouth, Total Sports Zone. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.